charity director from Westwood has been arrested after federal authorities say he stole millions slated to help the homeless.
They say he lined his pockets instead. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live in the newsroom with the details. Corrine.
Well, Sam and Glenn, the Homelessness Fraud and Corruption Task Force announcing this huge arrest today. Officials say that the executive director at the center of this case misused taxpayer funds intended to help some of LA's most needy individuals. He's accused of living the high life to the tune of $23 million instead of using public and taxpayer funds to help the homeless. That's according to federal and local officials who this morning arrested 42-year-old Alexander Sufer of Westwood at his multi-million-dollar home.
He lied to investigators when confronted. He provided fake invoices to make it appear that the payments to third vendors were legitimate. They were not.
Sufer is the executive director of the charity Abundant Blessings and was given tens of millions of dollars in funds between 2018 and 2025 to feed and house roughly 600 individuals across the greater LA area. That meant providing 3 nutritious meals a day. Instead, the assistant U.S. attorney Bill Asaley alleges Sufer gave them this microwavable ramen.
This is what he was providing ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money. The money was not intended for ramen noodles to be microwaved and fed to the homeless. He was supposed to provide nutritious meals. He pocketed the rest of the money. He probably spent $100 you see in that picture, and he pocketed the rest of the money.
Investigators provided photos of some of the high-priced items Sufer got for himself and family, including the purchase of a $7 million Westwood home, a $125,000 Range Rover, luxury vacation trips to places like Hawaii and Florida. Other expenses included private school tuition for his kids and a nearly $500,000 vacation home in Greece. Sufer allegedly lied to the Los.
You gotta be a real dirtbag to create a charity that's supposed to be to help house the homeless, feed the homeless 3 nutritious meals a day. You get millions of dollars in grants for doing this. That's how a lot of these people, they learn that they can get millions and millions of dollars if they have some type of community outreach or some type of community assistance program. So of course you're going to be granted millions of dollars if you have the right type of grant writers and stuff like that. But you buy these people microwavable ramen noodles, which is nowhere near a nutritious meal. So you're getting these funds, these millions of dollars in funds to house and try to feed these people nutritious meals. And this is why LA looks the way that it does. LA looks like a garbage yard. Because there's so many homeless people that are lining the streets, having to stay in makeshift tents and just anywhere they can fit in. And again, these type of people are people who get the funds from taxpayers. Of course, taxpayers going to pay their money, and those funds are going to be allocated to things of this nature. And then you have people who dress up and present themselves as charity directors. And then, they're using the money to buy $1 million homes, buy Range Rovers, go on elaborate trips, putting the money towards their kids' tuition, which probably is one of the most useful things they can do, as far as with those funds. But that money wasn't for that. Just buying all kind of luxury items and doing everything but what they're actually supposed to do with those funds. You gotta be a real low down scumbag, man, because it's just like you're taking advantage of a situation where it's people that are in need. You have the know-how to set up a charity and have, like I said, get grants and have grant writers and get all type of assistance from the government to help you on the mission that you're saying that you're going to do. And then you just go and spend a couple dollars, a couple cent on some noodles, some packs of noodles, and just say, hey, well, job done. You eat 3-4 packs of noodles a day, and that's your 3 nutritious meals. So, and it's a lot. This you hear about this type of stuff going on in all types of charitable events or charitable companies. You know, they just get access to all these millions of dollars, and they're going to use it in malicious ways. They're going to use it for their own personal gain. And what these people need to understand is once you do get that type of money, you best and believe it's going to be somebody that's going to be watching you, watching how you spend that money, watching how your lifestyle is. And, you know, if it doesn't fit the bill of, you know, I mean, not saying that you have to be capped as far as how you live your life, but, you know, then they'll go and start trying to see the results of what are you doing with that money. And as you see, they had evidence that, you know, you were just giving these people noodles or maybe providing them with burnt out used microwaves and stuff like that, and then telling them to go on about their day when they're actually supposed to be really getting fed, you know, meals that are like they said, 3 nutritious meals a day.
Vacation trips to places like Hawaii and Florida. Other expenses included private school tuition for his kids and a nearly $500,000 vacation home in Greece. Sufer allegedly lied to the Los Angeles
Like you bought a $500,000 vacation home in Greece, all off money that was supposed to go to your charity. That's crazy.
Homeless Service Authority on how he was directing the money.
This is a case full of lies, deceit, and pilfering money intended on addressing one of the most prolific problems in Los Angeles County.
There is not just a federal investigation, but one at the local level that District Attorney Nathan Hochman outlined. The DA's office conducted an independent parallel investigation with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with both having overlapping jurisdiction in this case. At the federal level, Sufer is facing wire fraud charges. At the local level, his charges include forgery, where he faces up to 17 years in prison.
Rather than admit that he did something wrong and hand the money back, he doubled down on his crimes. First stating that he actually provided this money. Then he tripled down on his crimes, submitting fake invoices. And when he's confronted by the auditors about the fake invoices, he quadruples down and submits different fake invoices.
Officials say they've investigated 2 other alleged fraud cases regarding funds meant for the homeless that were misused.
And as you see, you know, like I said, you know, he's a smart individual, man, because if you know how to sit there and doctor up invoices and stuff like that, you have some smarts to you. The thing is, man, you should have just did the right thing with those type of funds, you know. And as you see, tax dollars received, you know, one guy over here received $25.9 million. Another guy, 16 plus million. They don't even have an exact figure. And then with Alice here, he received over $23 million. And once they start seeing that type of money coming in for their charity, they just wanted it for themselves. You know, just wanted it for itself. And yeah. Once people come in and start doing checks and balances with you, because if you're getting millions of dollars from the government, you best believe someone is going to be coming to try to get a check and balance of what's going on. They're going to do an audit of you eventually, and you better have your paperwork together. And I don't even know if it's really worth spending all these, you know, multi-years in jail over something of that nature. You know, when you could have just done the right thing and, you know, try to figure out other ways to advance yourself as far as financially. So, you know, pay yourself a salary from the charity for the time that you're spending and the work that you're actually doing in the community. You know, anything but just blatantly just stealing that money from people, you know. Again, if they could go and just give that money to the homeless and really depend on them to actually do what they're supposed to do as far as getting those meals, they would. But you're like the middleman in this whole thing between the government and the homeless people. And you take advantage of your position as that middleman when you take those funds that you're given for a specific thing and you wire them to your own bank account and go to just spending like you crazy.
With these defendants also facing steep charges. Now we have reached out to the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority for comment. They have not yet responded. Sufer is expected to make an initial court appearance in Santa Ana sometime this afternoon. That's the very latest in the newsroom. I'm Corrine Winter. Sam and Glenn will send it back to you now in the studio.
You know, and it's gonna be embarrassing, for your kids and everything like that because they're gonna see this like the parents of other kids or these kids gonna see this on social media, and it's just embarrassing all the way around. And people are really selfish these days. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole situation. If you were in that position of being like a charity director, would you misappropriate the funds, or would you take the funds and go just spending on elaborate things for yourselves? Just let me know, how you would approach the situation. Um, you know, would you just go buy just packs of noodles and just hand them out to the homeless and say you did your job as far as, what you asked for the money for and things of that nature? Do you agree with this type of thing or this type of behavior? Just let me know what y'all think in the comments. And also make sure you hit a like on the video to get me into the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.